Ahmed's not sure how to take care of his 5 children. This tent's all they have after being made homeless for the second time. The Iraqi government has shut down most camps for the people displaced by years of fighting. Tens of thousands are now left with no shelter.
My house was destroyed by an airstrike and we're poor. I lived in a camp for 3 years. They asked me to leave the last one and I heard about this camp. I've been here for 4 months.
12-year-old Safwan has abdominal cancer, but he and many others don't have access to healthcare at this remote camp in the northern self-governing Kurdish region.
We believe the Iraqi government's decision to close the camps isn't humanitarian, but a political decision. Kurdish regional government opened its doors. We don't benefit from the refugees. They are a burden on the KRG government, but we look after them for humanitarian reasons.
Aid workers say 70% of the people here are in debt, many for trying to find food. In Ahmed's kitchen, there's barely enough to eat.
Living here is also difficult, but I don't have a choice. I can only buy potatoes, rice, eggplant. We can't afford meat. I haven't tasted meat for months.
Since other camps were shut down, 300 families have arrived at the Hasansham U2 camp. Those in charge say the government is intentionally making matters worse to force out people.
The Iraqi government did not include them in the food baskets for displaced families, and help from NGOs is not enough for all. The World Food Programme gives money, which is not sufficient. Our concern and fear is that the situation is going to become more difficult.
For the last 2 months, there has been no electricity in this camp, which is home to about 5,000 people. But even under these conditions, people find life here easier than what it is when they tried to go back and rebuild their homes, which have been destroyed in the fighting. Salih DAWOOD has found shelter in this construction site. He's angry for being forced out of his tent with nowhere to go and no opportunities to rebuild his life.
Yes, they forced me to leave the camp, kicked me out without any alternative. My house is totally damaged. If the government pays me, I will rebuild my house. I want to return, but the situation has forced me to live here.
In addition to destroyed homes, there are security issues. Arab residents of Sinjar fear Kurdish armed groups such as the YPG and PKK. Others displaced from Salahuddin province are afraid of Shia fighters aligned with the Popular Mobilization Forces. Iraq's government told Al Jazeera people were not forced to leave. An official with the Ministry of Migration says 26 camps are still operating in northern Iraq. But he admitted the financial compensation promised to those who left has not been paid. Iraq's budget issues for several years has been an obstacle to receive and distribute money. For Iraqis like Ahmed, those reasons just sound like excuses from people who no longer care. Osama, Javaid, Al Jazeera, Hasansham camp, Kurdish region of northern Iraq.